All right, I just want to take a moment and explore price action and different potential hedge points or cash out points for this year. Right now, we're pretty on track to hit the 13,888 by the end of February. We can kind of project that because when you see these crashes, you see what I call a mirroring. So in the time it takes to come down, for a market to come down, you'll see a similar time frame for it to come up and recover, and then recover to new all-time highs again. So this has been the pattern of Bitcoin. I have no reason to suspect this is any different, even though percentage-wise it was a higher than average percentage correction. But we can see it recovering pretty well at the moment. So, okay, so let's take where we're at and kind of compare that for the year according to kind of Cliff High's projections for the year. And this is what he said in interviews. He's given about 2 or 3 price levels to look out for. And they might be opportunities to hedge, but definitely at the end of the year, you want to look, no matter if you're kind of swing trading or whatever you're doing, to kind of hedge your bets here. So let's take a little snapshot and let's assume that the mirroring that's happened in the past, as you see right here, the time to correct versus the time to recover and reach all-time highs. So basically what we're looking at is we see a peak in December, about the end of December, and then you see the dip in February. So I see in the range about 52 days for this correction, so a little bit longer than average, but these are the highest price levels we've seen, so you expect it to be a little bit more unstable as it gets higher and higher. And there's still plenty of money to come in here. I mean, you know, if we see this as the gold market, even if it's just the gold market, and I expect it to do much more, but that's $7 trillion, which puts Bitcoin at its current rate as a valuation of about $400,000 per Bitcoin. So, I mean, as high as these seem, it's pretty undervalued as it is the more you study the market. So what you're seeing is this this mirroring in the recovery, right? So, you know, what is this, 10 days as it was going down, you can see it's gone up by the same percentage, if not a little bit better. So if we project out 52 days, puts us about to April of 2018 to reach the $20,000 that we're at the end of December. So February, March, April. So 2 months, approximately, 2.5 months to get back to even here. And that's pretty average. I mean, when you look at the peak-to-peak variation, if you think you lose money, you usually regain it in about 3 months. So there's a little context for you. But we don't even expect it to be at the same level, so we're assuming a parabolic S-curve. And that's what a lot of chartists have recommended or have seen. And that's also what Cliff High's projections were, which he's been right for several years on the price moves of Bitcoin. So let's go through some projections about, you know, what the different peaks are and what the potential is. So you have, what I'm seeing is you're seeing 2 little projections in the middle of the year, or I should say smaller, like chances to increase your portfolio by 30%. And then one up to, in December, of about 60%. You know, you can 2x your holdings. And I'll talk about this correction because I think this is going to be special. And while that kind of wound from this year is fresh, just so we're aware of that and we can either prepare either to hold it or to trade out of it, be safe with it. So, okay. So this is Cliff High's projection by May, 40K by May. So what he's saying is 20 to 30% corrections, a couple different ones this year. So what we assume is we're recovered by April up to December highs, which is about $20,000 Bitcoin. So April, May, so within a month we'll do another 20,000 is his projection. So think a month to 2 months, Once we see in this top out, what you want to do is, if you're trading this and you want an extra 30%, or want some more value out of your portfolio, think about hedging out, think about different ways to do that. And so we'll talk about that. But 40K, he sees a $20,000 retracement. So basically, when it comes to May, what I would think to do is move your coins onto exchanges and getting ready to trade them if you want to do that. So there is risk involved, but there is a potential gain, right? So the simplest one is to move it into Tether. Now there's questions about Tether's capability and its background, so you can do research about that. By May, we may have some better options. So there's alternatives to Tether. Like you can get gold-backed currencies that are one-to-one with gold, and that may be something you want to look into because gold price remains fairly stable, right? So you can protect your profits by moving into that, and by buying back at the low at about $27,000 if you want to risk it. So that's one thing to do. Now you can start timing these markets around this time. There's really good chartists out there that will give you a pretty clear idea of a top, pretty good idea of a bottom. So Phil Cohn on YouTube, Hygen on YouTube, Tonebase on YouTube. All these are good kind of anchors. All these are good chart analysts that will allow you to time pretty good tops and pretty good bottoms. So there's just some things to be a little bit aware of. Now you're looking at a bigger, so this is a $13,000 drop followed by a recovery. So now, we're getting a couple months up or a month and a half to get back to 40K, and then you'll see a run to 64K. So this is another thing pointed out by Cliff High. Now, the May was pointed out by Cliff High, 40K by May. That was his other projection. 64K, he doesn't have a specific time period, but this is going to be the next high after 40K. And you're going to see it retrace to 40K, which is 20%. You could see it go down to 30K at that point, or 35K, So if you're looking to trade it, again, go into Tether. There's another one on Bittrex called Nubits. But you're looking for stable currencies if you're going to trade this. Now, again, this is optional. 30% may or may not be a big deal. You're going to be making tons of money by now. The thing to watch out for is December. So December is another one that lines up with Cliff High's projections. So there's going to be $100,000 Bitcoin parties at this point. Now, be aware of this because we're looking for a big drop, and he points that out to be about 40K. Now, when chartists see this and project out to this, when they go beyond December, they see a goalie in Bitcoin price for like a year, right? So we'll see maybe $80,000, $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year, but for some reason, because of its height, that might be delayed. So you want to look into protect your capital at this point. I would highly recommend that, even if you're not trading these smaller dips, right? So think about that. You can strategize for that. I can say, even you can trade onto Coinbase and exchange for US dollars at this point. And that's another way you can kind of protect things in a secure way. There's other ways to hedge, so you can cash out a little bit at this point and go into mining, for example. You can cash out a little bit and convert to silver, convert to cash. You can keep it in Tether or any other kind of stable coin. So we'll go over some options when we get closer to these dates. But these are easy kind of increase your portfolio by 30%, increase your portfolio by 30%. And this one's double your portfolio, if you play this right. So I'll keep you updated on the price. These are the movements that we're seeing. Even though this seems huge, again, we were looking at $400 Bitcoin when Cliff was choosing a time frame for $13,000 Bitcoin. So I don't see this as outside of reach. Plenty of other chartists that have matched this to the normal, what's called S-curve, have seen this kind of projection as well. So I see alignment there, and it's definitely aggressive. So, you know, whatever you do, it's good enough to be educated on it. And, you know, if you're aware of that, you can kind of have a strategy to play this to kind of increase your profits, or just to be reassured in these time periods, because we're going to see some pretty big dips. But that's exciting because we're going to see much bigger rises. All right, just giving you ideas for kind of how to play your portfolio moving forward. All right, take care. Bye-bye.